In the last 50 years or so, many American cities have difficulty in maintaining a successful retail environment. Business owners in the city centers or in the downtown areas have experienced some financial losses because of the city movement of the people out of the city and then into the suburb. In general, downtown areas just don't have that many residential areas. Not that many people live there. So, what did city planner decided to do about it? Well, one way they come up with some ways to attract more people. Creating pedestrian mall. Now, what is a pedestrian mall? It's a pretty simple concept, really. It is essentially an outdoor shopping area designed just for people on foot. And, well, unlike many of other shopping malls that are built in suburbs nowadays, typically are located in the downtown area of the city. And there are features like wide sidewalks, comfortable outdoor seating, and maybe even food and art. There are variations on this model, of course, but the common denominator is always an idea of creating a shopping space that will get shopping in the city without needing their cars. So I'll show you Kishi, where street with us with the bustling, noisy, and presented traffic congestions. Now, the concept, which originated in Europe, was adopted by American city planners in the late 1950s. And since then, a number of United States cities have created pedestrian malls, and many of them have been highly successful. So, what does the city planner learn about making these malls succeed? Well, there are two critical factors to consider when creating a location and design, and both of which are equally important. Now, let's start with location. In choosing a specific location for pedestrian mall, there are in fact two considerations: proximity to potential customers, that's what you call it, accessibility to public transportation, which we'll get in just a moment. Now, for a customer base, the most obvious example would be a large office building, since the employees could theoretically go shopping after work or during their lunch hour, right? Another really good example is a convention center, which typically has a hotel and large meeting spaces to draw visitors to the city for major business conferences and events. But ideally, the pedestrian mall will be used by local residents, not just people working in the city or visiting the area. So that's where access to the public transportation comes in. If there were resources like bus terminal, a major train subway station, or they work with the city officials to create sufficient parking areas not too far from the mall, which makes sense because people can drive into the mall area or they need easy access to it. Okay, so that's location, but what about the design? Well, design doesn't necessarily include things like sculptures or decorative walkways or even eye-catching window displays, art. Although I read the first element, those things are aesthetic and appealing, however visually pleasing sights. While they are not a part of pedestrian wall design that matters them more. The key consideration is a compact and convenient layout, one which allows pedestrians to walk from one end of the mall to the other in just a few minutes. So they can get the major stores, restaurant, and other central places without having to take more than one or two turns. Now this takes a careful and creative planning. But now what if one ingredient to this planning recipe is missing? There could quite be possibly be long-lasting effects, and I think a good example is the pedestrian mall is the Louisville, Kentucky, for instance. Now, when the Louisville Mall was built, it has lots of visual appeal. It was attractively designed right in the small part of downtown, and it pretty much possessed all the design elements for success. But now here's my there wasn't a convention center around to help joining visitors, and was the only nearby hotel eventually closed down for that same reason. Well, you can imagine how this mall affected local and pedestrian malls business owners. Sort of what was we call it a chain reaction. It wasn't until a convention center and a parking garage was built that mall started to be successful.